This episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark features one of the most terrifying, scary, chemically imbalanced monsters we've seen so far. It's Tale of the Dead Man's Float, the first episode of Season 5, but before we get to the actual story itself, there's been a switch up, once again, in this Midnight Society. Our pal Frank, the bad boy, who was trying to hit on Sam, was rejected by her so hard that his parents had to move away. That's the excuse they give for why Frank is not going to be in Season 5. He moved away. And so, because they, for some reason, always need 6 in this Midnight Society, and now they're down to 5, they have Gary, Sam, Betty Ann, Kiki, and Tucker, they need a new character. So they introduced a new character, who only tells 2 stories in this entire series. His name is Stig, and he looks like this. It reminds me of that character from the movie Angus. But he's played by Cody Wilby, who, like many kid actors, wasn't able to make it out of the 90s. In fact, after being in 13 episodes of Are You Afraid of the Dark, he disappeared from the industry. Before that, he was in an episode of The Outer Limits, The Surgeon, Judgment Day, which I looked up. Is that referencing Terminator? No, it isn't. It's just trying to rip off the success of Terminator. Call the movie Judgment Day so that it tricks people, and it's about a serial killer. Reflecting Skin and Jump Street. So he had a little bit of a career as a kid, and then left the industry. And I think this replacement is completely unnecessary. There's already 5 of them. This is going to be the last season anyways, until they reboot it in 1999 with a whole new Midnight Society cast. And DJ McGill has talked about in interviews that they always knew it was going to be 5 seasons. It's not like this thing was canceled because of bad ratings. For whatever reason, they decided to do 5 seasons. And he always knew that was the thing that they signed up for, until they rebooted it a few years later. This guy's not needed, but let's not bash him too much. He's a friend of Tucker, Gary's brother, who brings him in. We can see that Tucker looks quite a bit older in Season 5. All the other characters look to be about the same age. Tucker's finally hit puberty. The only thing we know about Stig is that as soon as he sees Kiki, he gives her a kiss on the cheek and she runs away from him. It says anyone but Stig, implying they go to the same school and he has a crush on her. And throughout this season, they'll talk about how he smells and is ugly. So, not exactly sure what role he's supposed to be filling here. He's giving the girls the ick. I don't think he's really necessary, so this is an unfortunate character, but he's going to tell a great story today. He wants to impress this Midnight Society so that he can finally get in with him. So he starts telling the story. We start in 1954. A boy named Joe is swimming in the school pool. The lifeguard Charlie is making out with a girl. He's not paying attention to what's going on over there. Joey raises his snout and sniffs the air. Smells the horrendous chemicals. Then a creature grabs him and drags him underwater, and he dies. Now this shuts down the pool until some new kids discover it in 1994. So this pool is closed off. A kid died, they're not sure how, and now this school does not have a swimming pool anymore. We flash forward to 1994, and we get Zeke Matthews, who's the nerdy but smart kid. Do nerds always have to be smart? Apparently. Look at his glasses and preppy clothes. And Zeke has a crush on a girl, Clarice, which he says in a totally non-creepy Hannibal Lecter tone. Well, it's Clarice with an O. And he's trying to find any excuse to hang out with her after school. But you see, Zeke has been sneaking around this school and has found a secret lair behind these lockers that he goes and shows Clarice, trying to impress her. He knows that she's on the swim team and she has to drive, wherever her parents drive her, an hour away to go to these swim meets, when they have this perfectly good pool right in the school. So he opens the secret door behind the lockers, and we see that the pool has been empty since 1954. And they're going to tell the school to get this thing up and running again. Come on. Kid died like 40 years ago. No big deal. I'm sure this pool is completely fine. Clarice is not very impressed by Zeke, but she does like this revelation and really love this opportunity to practice and also have her swim meets at the very school that they're at. So much more convenient. So Zeke's off to a good start. Now, as this is the pool that we saw at the beginning of the episode from 1954, we know that it's haunted, but we still haven't seen anything yet. This episode has an 8.7 on IMDb, one of the most popular episodes in the entire series, and it's really because of the monster. The monster in this episode is so great, so terrifying. It could have got its own movie. Hell, it could have got its own movie series. You see, there's chemicals in the water, and so the ghost that comes up looks like a combination between a large skeleton who hasn't completely decomposed but is filled with these red chemicals. It's gruesome without being too gross, since this red is actually not blood, it's chemicals. but it really does look like his skin is peeling off. We get some Jaws point of view shots, and then the monster just jumps out of the water and grabs Zeke. He lets you know that he's coming because the whole pool house starts smelling like acid. Zeke's able to escape and they go to the locker room where we get the real backstory. Are You Afraid of the Dark, because it's based on urban legends, always likes giving you a backstory. It doesn't just throw you a monster and not tell you why. This entity killed someone in 54 by pulling a young kid under. And Charlie, the man they meet at the pool, was actually the lifeguard at the time. He was the one making out with the girl. Now he's an old man. And the pool was built on an old graveyard. An Indian graveyard? Maybe. And while they're building this pool, because obviously you have to dig up these graves and relocate them, they just forgot to relocate a grave. So that's where this monster comes from. Which actually makes sense. There's been many stories based on a house being built on an Indian graveyard. But if you really think, a house doesn't really go that deep into the earth. Obviously, if it's a graveyard, you still have to move the graves. But a pool goes super deep. So it actually makes a lot more sense. And I like this backstory. Since who knows, maybe you could miss a grave or two. They're able to finally defeat this corpse by, of course, throwing chemicals right back at him. The episode is still very good until you get the reveal of the monster. It's not one that drags and you're just waiting for a good monster reveal. He comes out of nowhere and really does scare you. The episode gives you what you want. You want to see many more pool scenes. And that's exactly what you get. You get some chemistry lab scenes and then pool scenes, and all this ties together because Zeke is able to use his brainy knowledge of chemistry to finally defeat this monster. It's a great episode. It's going to get a 9 out of 10. The monster is by far the best one we've seen so far. I think after I finish this series, I'll rank which monsters is the best, but I can't imagine anyone beating this guy. I mean, look at him. He's so slimy. He's so gross. The main character, Zeke, the dork, is played by Cash Eric Erickson, who is still acting, starring in the horror movie See No Evil 2 as Seth in 2014. 17 episodes of the 4000. And maybe, as a lot of people do as they get older, moving more into Lifetime or Hallmark channel movies, his last one being All's Fair in Love and Mahjong. But it's always good to see characters that are still going. They're still making their dreams come true. I think he did a great job in this episode because he wasn't too dorky that you didn't believe that he'd be able to defeat this monster. But it's probably better if you're trying to ask a girl on a date to stop talking about chemistry every 4 seconds and wearing this lab coat. His love interest, Clarice, is played by Margaret Finley, who made it to 2000. She got out of the 90s, starring in Opposite Sex, playing the character Miranda Mills in 8 episodes in 2000. And also was Linda in The Mighty Ducks. That was D3, the most 90s movies in existence. And apparently she ended up getting a law degree and became a lawyer, which pays way better than having an extra role in a Canadian TV series where you're the friend of the friend of the friend, best friend's aunt. And for some fun facts, well, we have a lot of them. The top, it says DJ McHale considers this to be one of the scariest episodes. It is, because it's not scary the entire time, but once the monster comes out and grabs him, that's definitely the best jump scare of the series. This is an episode written by Will Dixon, who would direct many of the episodes. But why didn't they have him write another one? He did a good job. And at the very end, we get a cliffhanger, since this was Stidge's story. He's trying to get in this Midnight Society. Every other time this has happened, they just immediately let the person join. This Midnight Society never dislikes any stories. Yet for this one, they actually are going to make Stidge tell another story before he's officially accepted in, even though he told one of the best stories. Maybe they're just getting tired of the Midnight Society always liking every single story. So this guy's going to have to work a little harder. Next up, we get episode 2 of season 5, The Tale of the Jagged Sign. And it's a story told by Kiki. Check out our playlist of the other series that we've covered. I review every single episode. They're all in order. So you just hit the playlist, and my soothing voice will help you fall asleep. And I've also done live streams in the Monster series, which we're going to continue in a few days. Thank you.